Welcome to KiwaniTalk. We're a public information show put together by people from the Dearborn Kiwanis Club. Lots of help from students and staff at Dearborn High School, WDHS facilities, my alma mater. My name is Gary Gardner. Welcome to the longest running cable access program in the world. This is KiwaniTalk, and we have a very special program today talking about a place that some people from this area may know if they've driven by it on Ann Arbor Trail. It looks kind of familiar, but you don't know where it is, what it is. It's called Vista Maria, and it's an amazing organization. And to help us talk about it, we have the new CEO of Vista Maria, Megan Zambiasi. Megan, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much.
It's great to have you here. So, Megan, you're new, and you came to us from the west side of the state, but where was Megan before school, growing up, and before even you got into this kind of business?
Right. Well, I am from Spring Lake, Michigan. So for those of you who have traveled over to the west side, it's by Grand Haven.
Okay.
You have the drive through town to get to Grand Haven, Michigan. So I'm a Lakeshore girl. I grew up there, went to high school there. After that, I did various college kinds of experiences. So I went to Syracuse for a while, then I went to Michigan State.
Go Green?
Yeah, go White.
There you go.
And then I went to Western Michigan for a counseling degree. And then later on in my career, I went back and got an MBA from Michigan State again. So I'm a double Spartan.
So this business that you're in, this kind of talk about that side of it too.
Yeah, absolutely. So career-wise, I've always been drawn to helping people. So early on, I discovered I really wanted to work particularly with kids and families. So I'm a clinician by background. I'm a therapist. And so I started out working for a wonderful organization and seeing kids and families and did a lot of that. Then I was asked to move up and try management. I basically said, happy to try that for a little bit, and found I liked that too. So I was with an organization on the west side of the state called Pine Rest for about 19 years. After that, I was recruited to go to a statewide organization, Hope Network, and I was there serving as their Senior VP of Operations and Strategy until I received a wonderful phone call from somebody looking for a new CEO for Vista Maria, because their lovely CEO they had had for many years was retiring. So here I am.
So here we are. So Vista Maria, and I've been in Dearborn for 50 years, I guess now, and Vista Maria was a place for wayward girls, I thought.
Oh, yeah.
Which was the image that people have. But Vista Maria and the founders go back way back, and where did they all come from, and how did they start out?
Right, absolutely. So Vista Maria actually was a ministry of the Sisters of the Good Shepherd, and the Sisters of the Good Shepherd began in Angers, France. So it's about 2.5 hours south of Paris, is kind of the middle of France, in the 1800s. The sisters were very forward-thinking. They helped survivors of human trafficking years and years before other people even thought about that.
So human trafficking is not something that's new. That name may be new to us, but that whole process.
Absolutely. Vulnerable girls and women have always been the interest of the Sisters of the Good Shepherd. They wanted to provide hope and a future for the girls. And so they had the beginning ministry was in France, and then they spread all over the world. Actually, Detroit was one of the very first sites for the sisters. They sent sisters over from France to found an order here. And really, we were based downtown Detroit for many years. And then we outgrew the facility, and we're looking for another spot. So the sisters began to figure out where they could get enough land that would still be close enough to Detroit. So they approached the Ford family. So our land actually was donated by Henry Ford and Clara B. Ford, and in the 1940s.
Henry Ford had a lot of charity and depth and goodness in his heart, beyond just all the things he did for industry. He tried to do that, and that's so where, again, I mentioned the place. Where is the Vista Maria site located today?
Right, so we are on West Warren Avenue in Dearborn Heights, and we have 37 acres there, right along the Rouge River. Lovely campus, and I look at it's like a little urban oasis, really, and we've got a lot of urban density around us, but a lovely campus that's got all sorts of trees and flowers and plants and whatnot.
And so Vista Maria has a mission that is, what is, if you could define the mission, what is it today?
Really, our mission is to take care of youth and families and to help them heal from trauma that they may have had as a result of abuse or neglect, or survivors of trafficking, and to help them move forward in their lives and become, fully participating citizens in the community.
The level of need that Vista Maria has, I don't think it ever has gone away, but has there been a change over time? Can you tell, looking back, and where we are today?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, certainly the need has always been there. I mean, obviously the need was there in the 1800s when the sisters started, so it's been there all along. It has changed though, and I think that especially over the last decade or so, we've seen increasing numbers of kids with pretty significant trauma and mental health problems that they present with. So a lot of them come to us needing a lot more care than they used to. So we are now treating kids who obviously they've got more severe things going on. They've experienced a lot more. So sad but true.
You're located in Dearborn Heights there. Your mission started in downtown Detroit, but what area does Vista Maria serve?
We actually serve the entire state of Michigan. We have kids who come to us from all over, but primarily, Wayne County, so Wayne, Macomb, Oakland counties, but mostly Wayne County kids.
You talked about your campus, and you had this, glow about you. Talk about the buildings and the kind of operations you run out of the center there on Warren.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful campus. We have some post-war buildings that are all kind of traditional brick. Buildings where we have, various kinds of operations. Most of what we have now in the old dormitories where the sisters would stay are office buildings and whatnot. We have a chapel that is lovely on the inside, all marble, and some of the prettiest stained glass windows I've ever seen is there as well. We have a gymnasium and an activity center, that was generously, donated. A good chunk of the monies from that were from Ford Motor Company. So our friends of Ford, have helped us with that as well. We have a pool that the sisters put in actually in the 1950s that is a huge hit with our kids in the summer. And we have
indoor or outdoor?
It's outdoor.
Okay, so no wonder summertime pool.
Yeah, it's a summertime pool. We have, kind of all across our campus, we've actually moved now into smaller buildings that are more like a home-like and cottage-like, if you will. So now the kids really reside in more modern buildings. The older post-war ones are now primarily office space, but we still have a lot of beautiful space, and we've got a lot of green space. So many of the kids that come and stay with us have not spent a lot of time outdoors. And they may not really have had a childhood that has afforded them time like in a playground or whatnot. So we have teenagers who play on play equipment on a regular basis. They get an opportunity to be kids again.
Don't tell anybody, but if I get a chance, I do too.
Good for you. So, we all should.
You talked about the living situation. How many residents do you have that are living there?
Currently, we have 60 that are with us, and that number varies. It goes up and down. Obviously, as the kids get better, we have them go back out into the community and return to their families or homes if they're able to do that. But we have about 60 right now.
So is the goal reunification with the family, or
always, if it's safe to do so, we like to do that. That's kids need families. If it's not, then our other objective is try to find either relatives or people that they know well and are already close to who might be able to do that. If not, then we look for adoptive families.
So what is the age range of the residents that you have at Vista Maria?
So of the kids that are on campus with us, we generally are going to have kids there that are about between 11 and 17. We do have some young adults who are aging out of the foster care system, so transitional aged kids is what we would call that. And they are 18 to 24. So we do have some that stay with us as well. We've got like dorm-style apartments that are on our campus, a few of those, to help them to learn some new skills and get back out into the community.
Is that included in the 60 residents you talked about?
Actually, no.
Okay,
that's additional. Yeah.
How about school facilities there? Talk about what you do for that for your residents.
Yeah, we have 2 charter schools on our campus. So Clara B. Ford Academy is for the kids that stay with us. So the girls that are with us, that's where they go to school. And it's a fully functioning, middle school and high school setup. We spend a lot of time, again, a lot of our kids come to us and they've had a lot going on in their lives. So they may need some time to catch up on some academic work and some additional tutoring and specialized help. We provide that there for them, as well as all the usual things you would see in high school, sports and activities and whatnot.
Yes, so my question is that if a child or a young person's come from a household that's been abuse and neglect, I don't know that schooling was really a priority for the parents.
Right. It's been sometimes, it really is difficult. Basic things, right, are hard for families when they're struggling to that degree. So absolutely, a lot of our kids they're sponges, right? Their brains are just, ready to absorb everything, but they haven't really had much opportunity because they've been worrying about other things. So when they come to us, we do a lot. It's amazing to see how they catch up pretty quickly.
And if you have a low education level, then you feel bad about yourself, your self-esteem. There's that whole spiral going down the thing. What kind of changes have you seen in the time that you've been there with some of the residents that come in until they progress?
It's a great question. Some of the neat things that I've seen in particular is just that when kids come in, that they really maybe aren't feeling very confident about their academic ability or that they can learn. And to see them blossom, and go from, struggling in something to realizing that they can get it and that they can thrive, it really does a lot for someone. The sisters had a saying about, really believe strongly in education, and spent a lot of time even early on with kids talking about how that's something that nobody can ever take from you if your education stays with you. And so we try to carry that on as lay people with the kids that are in our care, that education is just an incredible gift, and we want them to have as much of that as possible when they're with us.
So we're talking about all these young people who come to you. How do they get to you? How are they referred to you, and what is the source of that?
Most of the referrals come through the state of Michigan, through Child Protective Services often. We also have court systems sometimes that would, because if the family is involved in that or there have been some issues, sometimes we'll get a referral from the court. Human trafficking survivors can also be referred to us by the state police or investigative units maybe who've done raids or other things. So sometimes that's where we get those referrals.
So I'm going to guess that some of, as you mentioned in passing, but some of the survivors who come there have had real serious trauma.
Yeah.
How about psychological services? What kind of do you provide for them there?
Yeah, we have all sorts of things. We have psychiatry, therapy. We have therapists in each building with very, really small caseloads. So they're able to really spend a lot of time individually with the kids. It's an intensive therapy. That's a lot of what we provide to help them heal, is just a very intensive experience.
And some of them need it more, but do the residents, and I'll focus on them for now, do they come to depend upon each other? Do they develop bonds and friendships?
Of course, yeah. They develop close friendships, and learn from each other. We do group therapies and whatnot so that they're able to, it's always interesting to see a group of people, they've been through a lot and they can relate to each other, of course, and that can help a lot in healing.
And again, my misconception, and I'm bad for that, but was that it was a place where wayward girls were sent. So do you have the kids have escape committees and they try to go over the wall, or once they're there, are they happy to stay there?
Well, they are teenagers, and so teenagers mostly are interested in looking outside, right? They're eager to explore. So it can be a challenge sometimes in that way, but I think a good number of the kids, they really do feel like we're a safe place for them to be, but they're not supposed to be with us forever. We want them to actually, we feel good when they're a little feisty, right? And that they want to explore and do all the things that teenagers should want to do, because that's a good sign. It means that they're resilient and ready.
Do they get to keep their cell phones and their internet service, or is that kind of restricted?
Well, cell phones are tough. That's one that, we certainly, everybody has contact with their family members or loved ones. Those things are all, of course, part of that. But the state of Michigan actually regulates a lot of that for kids in care. So we follow all those regulations.
Well, we're going to continue our discussion with Megan Zambiasi, CEO of Vista Maria. We got a few words from Kiwanis about our programs and things, and we'll come back and continue with discussion about Vista Maria. Wonderful, amazing place, and what maybe you can do to help out later on. Don't go away.
It's easy to get caught up in the details. The day-to-day grind, numb to the noise, going round and round and round. Deep down, there's something missing, a void inside, a hole to fill, a life lacking. Then, in a minute of clarity, it hits you. The aha moment. You're needed. Kids need you. Kids of all kinds. All these funny, rambunctious, sweet, attention-seeking, vulnerable bundles of energy. They need your love and support. Some have huge life hurdles. Poverty, disease, hunger. And they're reaching out for you. Around the corner, around the world. You are a Kiwanian at heart, a role model, a guide, a builder of dreams. Together, we are Kiwanis, passionate and strong, ready to move mountains or grains of sand. Imagine every child reaching their potential. The power to help is in you. It's not about us. It's about them. Do you hear the call? Kids need Kiwanis. Kiwanis needs you.
Welcome back to KiwaniTalk. I'm your host, Gary Gardner. For this episode, we're talking about Vista Maria, a wonderful place for not just girls, but girls and boys who have needs. And to talk to us about that is Megan Zambiasi, the CEO of Vista Maria on Warren Avenue in Dearborn Heights between Telegraph and I guess Outer Drive or someplace there. It's
Right.
really very so. Megan, it's not just girls, but you also have boys. They don't get to live there. So
Correct.
you've got 60 residential people. How many other children, I'll call them kids, does Vista Maria serve?
We serve about 200 others out in the community, roughly, kind of give or take, any given day. We're taking people in and other folks are graduating from our services, if you will, but we have a large component there. We also do a lot of outreach, work out in the community, and I have to confess I don't have the exact number because that fluctuates.
It's got to fluctuate.
Yeah.
So when you say you reach out, what kind of programs do you have outs for kids outside? Do you try to identify kids at risk, or does the CPS bring them to you at risk, or how does that work?
Right. Well, so for our foster care and adoption division, most of those kids are kids that come again through the state. There's been usually some difficulty in the family where they need some additional help and focus. So we serve as the foster care agency that assists that, and with either reunifying the family when that's safe and everybody's ready to be back together, or helping to find a foster family, or we can also help with an adoption if it seems like that's the best option. So we do all of those things. We also have the community school. So I talked a little bit about our residential school earlier. We also have a community charter school, which is Vista Meadows Academy.
And is that on your campus?
It's
there?
also on our campus, and that we boys and girls both come to that. And there we run again high school programming, extracurricular activities, all of those things that kids might need in that setting. We've got smaller class sizes. It's a great setting for kids who might be struggling a bit in a larger high school, but need a little more focus.
How many kids do you have in that program that come to that? What the name of the school?
Vista Meadows Academy.
Vista Meadows
Yeah.
Academy.
We have 88 kids in that program.
Okay, what grades?
That is 9 through 12.
Oh, so it's all high school.
Yeah,
so,
all high school.
So about 20 kids per grade. That's a good number.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the staff that you have for that, I'm going to guess they're all certified teachers and
Yep.
people who
Yeah, absolutely.
talk about your staffing.
Yeah, so those we actually have a partner. CS Partners is our charter school partner, and they operate our school. Those schools basically have certified teachers, absolutely, and all of the things that you would need through the Charter School Act to provide a quality education for the kids.
And the kids who come for the outside school program, do they come in at ninth grade and stay all the time, or how does that work, or what do you have?
Generally, yes. But if they move on or whatnot, we also do some virtual school. So some of the kids they may go back and forth. They may do a hybrid, or they may be virtual school students, and that's another way that we try to serve the community.
Your location there in west side of east of Telegraph, west of Outer Drive. What geographic distance do kids who come to that program, where do they come from? Where do you draw those kids from?
Generally, they're from the neighborhood. So, for instance, when I come in the morning, I see a lot of kids walking. Some take the bus. It's just a variety, but they're generally going to be in a pretty close proximity to our campus.
So it's a charter school available to the community.
Available to the community, yeah.
Do the kids who come to that school have any special needs, or are they just it's available that they can use it there?
It's available that they can use it. I think probably, as most charter schools do, we offer that smaller class size and a little more specialized programming. So I think, there are kids who certainly maybe have struggled in a traditional school. But just like, Clara B. Ford Academy, as I discussed earlier, these kids have tons of potential, and this is just a great place for them to thrive.
So are they brought there by their parents? Are they referred from agencies, or how do they come?
Most of the community school group would be, parents seeking out an opportunity for their kids. It's a little different than a traditional
so it
public
seems
school.
that a parent that was cared enough to have that kind of an improvement in the school environment for their kids is going to be more involved, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, we're really fortunate to have many involved families, which has been great. In fact, we have a lovely program called the Wraparound Program that really does a lot of work on the ground with families. We have events where they all get together, and we do fun stuff. We also do practical things like how to communicate better, planning for the future. Things of that nature, just to really kind of help them succeed. And our staff is helping them connect them to any resources they may need as well.
So that the wraparound describe that more. I've heard that word used a lot, and what is that a particular sort of buzzword in the community?
Yeah, a little bit, I have to admit. And so the wraparound program really it's really designed literally to wrap around a family who needs some additional services or support, or just simply wants that. Raising teenagers is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart.
Been there, done that.
Exactly.
I got the T-shirt. Yes.
Yeah, many of us do.
Yeah.
And so this really is designed to just give some additional support like that, particularly if the kids have struggled at all academically or out in the community, and to prevent them from having further problems. We view it as a way to hopefully intervene before there would be any other need for additional services. So we figure if we can help provide the support that they need this way, then perhaps they won't have problems further on down the road.
So you talk about the athletic programs. What kind of athletic programs do they offer?
Oh, they have a basketball team. They have, I thought I saw a volleyball net up. They've got all sorts of things. They do high school sports.
Okay.
They also have other kinds of extracurricular activities that they enjoy. All of our kids, incidentally, so the kids that also stay with us on the residential campus, we have a program called Journey to Success that helps them with extracurricular things. So things that they might be interested in, like, gosh, I'd like voice lessons, or I'd like to learn how to code computers, or things of that nature. We have volunteers who come in from the community and help us with those things as well.
And there's the V word I wanted to get to.
Yeah.
How important is volunteer input for Vista Maria?
Yeah, we've been really fortunate to have many, many volunteers over the years. And my understanding is it dipped a little bit, obviously, during COVID, but I think we're really coming back up in those numbers. It's just great to have people there, and our kids love it.
So if I wanted to volunteer, and I have no educational skills to speak of, but I've got some background in certain stuff. What kind of stuff are you looking for?
Yeah, well, really, all sorts of things. Our kids are interested in an amazing number of things, really. So,
Okay.
so if you have a hobby or something that you'd like to share, that's great. We even have other opportunities that are just being outdoors. So we have a couple of really gardening groups that come in and help us with all of our 37 acres, which is substantial.
37 acres, you need more than just gardening.
We need a lot of help.
You need a full-time lawn crew.
Yeah, we do, but it's always nice to have help. I mean, many hands makes light work. So we have corporate volunteers who come in. So we have corporate groups sometimes who come in, and they do a whole day of service with us. We have a lot of that as well as individual groups that come in.
And you have, if someone, we haven't talked about it, someone wanted to contact Vista Maria, what is the best way? The internet, or phone, or all the above?
Really all of the above, but probably the easiest is to go to our website, which is vistamaria.org. And right on our website, there's a section about volunteering, and we'll connect you with our volunteer team that can help you find out how you can be involved and what things might fit best with your interests.
Vistamaria.org.
Vistamaria.org.
Can you read backwards, because it's right here?
Yeah, there you go.
It's right there in front of us.
Perfect.
Isn't that amazing how that works?
It's amazing.
That works. So the volunteer opportunities are there, and if you have any inclination to try to help out, it's then you've got an adopt a wish list.
Yes,
What's that about?
Well, this time of year, we take donations all year round. I'll say that we have a boutique that we have. And our campus is all brand new things for the kids. A lot of our kids, when they come to us, they've really never actually had many possessions that were ever their own. So it's really meaningful for them to have like a new pair of shoes or something like that. So things they choose. So we have a whole bunch of things there. But this wish list, especially this time of year, we have wish lists that are right online. They're on Amazon and other places, so there are links all on the website that help lead you there.
So part of your Christmas giving, you can go to Amazon, look up Vista Maria,
Yep, absolutely,
and make a donation to a really, really cool place.
Right, absolutely. It sends it directly to us. You don't have to fuss with it. We get it in, and then we take care of all that. We like to make sure that each child in our care has two toys or 2 items that would be really meaningful to them.
How about mentoring?
Yeah, mentoring is wonderful. And mentoring is a place we could really use some more, actually, because each one of our kids most of them would love to have a mentor. And that's somebody who can just develop a one-on-one relationship with kids and get to know them a little bit as people.
And at the beginning, we talked about foster care. You need the need for foster parents.
Tremendous.
Tremendous. How many kids do you have in foster care, and how many waiting to get into foster care?
I'm not sure about the waiting, but we've got right now about 200 kids, roughly, that are in that program, and we do always have a need for foster homes. Particularly, it's interesting. You can do a variety of things. A lot of people don't know that you can be a respite provider. So that a respite is a short-term foster thing. So you may only have kids for a couple days a year, even, but you're providing relief to a family. Either a foster family or other things, and you may have a group of delightful kids with you for a few days.
And all those opportunities are listed on the VistaMaria.org.
Every single one is on that VistaMaria.org.
Well, Megan Zambiasi, we are out of time.
Oh.
It's amazing how much time went by. It has been a real pleasure having you here. I learned a lot about my misconceptions of Vista Maria, and thank you for correcting me and making me feel better about it. Thank you very much for the work that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching KiwaniTalk. VistaMaria.org. They need some help. Any kind of talent you have, call them up or use the website probably. It's my old school thing, call them up. Look on the website, help them out. I'm Gary Gardner. See you next time on KiwaniTalk. Bye-bye.